Hi, I am a virtual pilot with over than 5,000 hours of flight experience. I have started from X-Plane 9 and continue to MFS 2020. So yeah, I fly about 10 years. And yes, in this video I will show the basic of flight. This video is the first video in the playlist of basic of aviation. When you fully watch this course, at the end you can perform a full flight on a real airliner, Airbus A320, from the startup at the departure airport to the shutdown at the arrival airport with taxi, startup taxi, takeoff, cruise flight, descent, approach, and shutdown at the destination gate. Full from the start to end. So, any before flight preparation starts from the visual inspection of the aircraft. In our case, that's a Cessna 152, one of the most popular training aircraft in the world. We start from the nose. The nose looks fine. The cover from the motor remove. Prop also looks nice. Continue to the left side. Expect the front side of the wing. Continue to the back. That also looks nice. Tires looks fine. The lockers on the aerodynamic surface is removed. The pressure in tires also looks nice. About small aircraft, you need to know that mostly when they store at the ground, they are locked by locker at the aerodynamic surface. By this you can't control your aircraft. That's made to protect aircraft from damage by wind, because wind can shake the aerodynamic surface of the aircraft and damage control system, and this is not what we would like to see. So to prevent this, use lockers on this. If you fly with these lockers, you can't control airplane in the air and you just fly like a passenger. That's not what we would like to enjoy. So all looks fully clear. Pressure okay, tire okay, lockers removed. The left wing also looks okay. The pitot tube, that's this one. That's our airspeed indicator. By this plane understand speed measured by air, and by this you can know how fast you fly. If forget to remove cover from this, some dust inside this, that's extremely dangerous. A lot plane crash happened by this. So our plane looks completely fine. We can go to the cockpit. Here we are. So for start, Cessna 152, firstly we need to open a fuel vent. Then we need to be sure that our parking brake is set, that's set it. So we need a bit start our system. For this we go to the battery switch, we push this, then we send energy to our altimeter. That's nice. Then we need to use manual pump to add pressure to our fuel system. 3 short push for hot temperature and 5 or 6 for cold. In our case we are to the warm condition, so yeah, only 3 push. Then we need to set a mixture that's a combination of air and fuel. We need to send this to the reach. We have more fuel than air in our mixture what we send to the engine. That's need to start the engine. Then we lower the thrust lever to 20% of power, something like this. Yeah. Carburetor heat, we don't need this. Carburetor, it's part of the engine where mixed fuel and the air, and then sent directly to the cylinder of engines. So yes, we need to start this. We don't need to start this now because we are the warm condition. So if we was at some cold temperature or cold condition, we need to start this. Then we need to start the radio. Put this on. Yes. And then that's our transponder. We can set our code, set it, and we ident. We have squawk code of 1200. That's a normal ident code. Flight control ATC can say to us to be change this if it's need, but in our case. So now we can start our engine. For this, we go to this switch, put ignition key, and a bit rotate this to position both start. And yeah, our plane is alive. That's really nice. So we need to have a idle lower than 1000 RPM. We can a bit reduce our thrust. Yes, something like this. So then we can turn on our beacony, our taxi light, and our strobe light. Taxi light we need show to see our runway, our route in front of us. The strobe is indicator light, was the display our plane to another aircraft, and beacony, that's our transponder to show that our squawk code, identification code to another aircraft. Then before flight we need to set flaps to the 10. Flaps, it's a surface of the plane what extends before takeoff or landing to add lift force to our wing to make plane capable to land on lower speed. So, and before we start taxi, we need to know two things. The speed in aviation measured by knots. 1 knots is about 2 kilometers per hour. To be exact, 1.852. It's really close to just multiply by 2. Yeah. So when we see that our speed is 40 knots, it means that we have something like 75 kilometers per hour. Yes, so our plane fully ready. We can remove parking brake. Be ready, our plane can be start a bit move because our engine create a bit of power. But it doesn't happen, so we can a bit add thrust. Gently add thrust. And our plane starts move. So when we are taxiing, we need to hold the speed lower than about 10 or 20 knots. Yes. While our airspeed indicator don't show this because the lower speed where it's indicated is 40 knots, 30 knots. And now we are turning to the left on our runway. We will rotate we will spin at the end of the runway to another end edge of runway to get more distance for takeoff. Yes. And about altitude, that's this unit, that's altimeter. This device so show our altitude, our barometrical altitude, measure it by a pressure what air makes on our sensors. We are now at the 1000 feet, that's about 300 meters. That's because our airport is higher than sea level, and yeah, we're a bit higher than this. Our altitude measured by difference from the sea is about 300 meters or 1000 feet. So we rotate to the another edge of runway, steer our airplane to the nose to the another edge of runway, a bit add thrust to rotate this. Also, we can talk about some another instruments in our cockpit. This one, that's our indicator of magnetic compass. That's a compass. That's to show our headache. That's our climb rate indicator, how with which speed we climb or descend. That's our aviation horizon. That show position of our wing and how it's positioned. It's need to understand our position when we fly in clouds or at the night to don't lose orientation. That's a reserve aviation horizon. That's RPM of our engine. Second, magnetic compass, fuel indicator, and that's our radio station. That's a transponder control surface. So, and that's our yoke. That's our pedal. To taxi, we just put left pedal, plane steering to the left, main front landing gear steering to the left. If we push right, that's steering to the right. And also that's change orientation of our tail. By this we can slightly move to left, to the right in the air. Also we have a yoke. That's our main control tool. We can move this like this. By this we rotate our wings and our tail control surfaces. By this we can climb, we can make a roll, and mostly we control by this our plane. So before start our takeoff, we need to fully send our yoke in front of us to make a more connection with the runway. Set our engine to the full power and follow the center line. Stay at the center of the runway. When we hit 55 knots, we can slightly move our yoke to ourselves, and by this we rotate. Congrats, we are in the air. Now we need to climb 1000 feet. So, because our airport is on the 1000 feet measured by sea level, we need to climb to 2000 feet level, and we are successfully done this. Now we can remove the flaps. This need to reduce our drag, our air drag, yeah. And now we are in the air. We can stabilize at the 2000 feet level, and then we can perform a box exercise. That's the exercise when the pilot make a square across the airport where they fly. So we can a bit reduce our thrust. Yes, something like this. And also we need to know about the trim wheel. Trim is a device what located at the end of our control surface. By this plane up or down the nose without push on yoke. That needs to make a plane fly without us control a plane, and make it a bit easier to fly on some hard condition like takeoff and landing, where when our aerodynamic surface is not so powerful, to make control a bit easier. So when we fly, we need to set the trim wheel to the position of landing. If we need to a bit move our nose down without put a yoke force, we can set this to the down, and by this our yoke will move down. So Now we move across our airport. That's a navigation map. Let's see, yeah, something like this. Soon we will turn here and then here and back to our airport. So I think that's nice time to make a rotation. That's pretty nice. We need to have the same position with our runway to stabilize. Here we are. So, as you see, we a bit fly with force. We need a bit stabilize the plane by yoke. For avoid this, we can use a trim view to stabilize plane by itself. So let's analyze how our plane move. Yeah, it's move nose down, so we can put the trim view a bit up force. Nose up, yeah, a bit more, and a bit more, and here is the magic. Our plane automatically stay at our flight level without movement of yoke. That's neat to stabilize aircraft on the flight level when we are already on the cruise mode and we need without force stay at the same altitude. But we a bit add too much, so a bit lower. Yeah. And then we need to be stabilized quite a bit by our hands. The trim stabilization is not so ideal, but it helps a bit handle a plane during mid-flight to not be so tired by moving a yoke. So we need a bit descent. We fly a bit too much higher. We need to be at 2000 feet measured by sea level, and then we will perform a rotation to our runway. Before landing, we need to set our trim to takeoff position. Yes. We can set thrust to the 0 to a bit lower our speed, and then we can rotate to third turn. We need a bit add thrust. And we need to rotate to the left. We're a bit higher than our trajectory, but it's okay. So turn left. And we see our runway a bit higher. We need to descend before our approach. For this, set engine thrust to idle and descend. And then we need to follow the main line of the runway to be at the center. Mostly at the airport have a poppy light. When you see two white and two red light, that means that you're exactly on the landing strategy. But it's really small airport, it's having this. So we need to orientate by ourselves. So let's do this. To be exact, we need to see our runway directly in front of our cockpit, and we need to stay at the same angle to have a really nice and normal approach. So we stabilize, can add a bit thrust to running mode, can move flaps to 10. We need a bit lower our speed. Follow the main line, the center line of the runway, because if don't follow we can run out from the runway. A bit add thrust. And then directly over the runway set engine to low, stabilize our plane, move nose up, here we are. Put the both pedal that activate a wheel stop mechanism, and here we are. We land this. And gently push the pedals. So now we can taxi out from the runway to the parking, and then soon we can disable our airplane. Shut down this, So let's do this. Here is our parking. Rotate to the right by a pedal. To rotate on the ground, just push left or right pedal and we will turn to the left or to the right, yes, and stop this. So now set the parking brake, remove thrust, remove mixture, disable ignition, here is it. So beacon off, strobe off, navigation already off, taxi off. After takeoff, recommend to disable taxi light to a bit ensure the lifetime of the light. So disable fuel pump, yes, transponder to the off, and now we can disable altimeter and then battery. Congrats, we have fully landed we have performed full flight on the Cessna 152 from the takeoff to the land, from start to disable. That's not that hard, anyone can do something like this, and that's amazing. Now you have wings.